Hi everyone, my name is Debra and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to colour mushrooms using this design by Ava Browne from the brilliant Colour in Heaven issue 103 Guided Gnomes. If you enjoy this tutorial and would like to colour along, you can order your copy from shop.colorinheaven.com. The link is in the description below. So for this cute little illustration, I thought it would be nice to actually base the mushrooms with some Faber-Castell Albrecht Durer pencils. Now I've only picked 3 colours out because I'm just using this as a base just to get rid of the white of the paper, and then I'm going to switch over to Prismacolor. So I think I want to actually do this little house and maybe these 2 cute little mushrooms here as well. So I'm going traditional with colours. I'm going to go with a red mushroom, but it's got hints of yellow and orange to it as well. So for my red, I've chosen the Scarlet Red 118. And then for the yellow, light cadmium yellow 105. And then for this part, is it the stalk? Is it the stalk? I'm going to use green gold 268. And these are all the Faber-Castell Albrecht Durers. I forgot the name then for a second. So I'm not going to be too particular with these watercolour pencils because they're super easy to blend out. But I just want to put random patches of yellow here and there. Not too much. I want the main colour to be the red. But you just want to really lightly. I'm using really light pressure here. Now the beauty is with these pencils is you don't need much water. A little water goes a long way. So I'll switch back over to the Scarlet Red, which is 118. Same exact thing. You don't have to be too careful at this stage. The whole point of this is just to erase the white. I find sometimes that the white of the paper can be quite daunting, so this takes away that scary bit for you. So the circular motions, just making sure that I'm getting even coverage. And now the trick is I'm going to have to activate the yellow first, with it being the lighter shade, and try my best not to mix it in with the red too much. And then for the bottom part, I'm going to use green gold 268. Now this will give us a lovely undertone for adding the pencil over the top later. I think it's perfect for spring, summertime. I've never actually heard of this artist before. Don't you love it when you do actually discover new artists? So I'll definitely be looking into this artist's other work as well. I think it's adorable. Look at the little snail. I know I'm doing a tutorial for that, but look how cute. This little hat is so cute. So I've just got a couple of different aqua brushes here. I've got I believe this is a Kuretake one, and this is an Arteza one. I think I want to go with the slightly bigger one this time. Now, I'm wetting the brush, but I want to take most of that excess water off. So I don't want it really wet. I just want the smallest amount. And going in circular motions, activating the yellow colour first. Just like that. Clean my brush off. Clean my brush off. Then start working on the red. See how beautifully they blend out. They just blend to nothing. It's gorgeous. Can't see any lines, it's just seamless. Now as I'm moving over the red to the yellow, keep tapping off my brush just to take off any excess water or pigment that's left over, because I do want to be able to see the yellow poking through. And then as you get to the yellow, I'm going to keep dabbing my brush off because I don't want too much of that pigment covering that lovely yellow shade. and that's leaving us with a really nice base to work with pencils over the top. So I'll clean my brush off again. Now I'm not blending two colours together so I can be a little bit quicker, but look how beautiful that colour is. Now you will have to be a little bit patient with these pencils. I would leave it to dry for at least 10-15 minutes, I would say. You could go ahead and use a heat gun at this point, but I will let mine completely dry and then we can move on to the Prismacolor and add all the lovely little details. So now that the page is completely dry, I've pulled out my Prismacolor and I've picked 3 different, well technically it's 4, but I will tell you colours as I go along because but I'll go through the colours as we go along. But I do want to start off with the yellows. I'm using Canary Yellow PC 916. And where I've already put the yellow on the actual top of the mushroom, that'll be my base. It's giving me an idea where to put the colour back in. So circular motions, I'd say I'm using medium pressure now. I'm not using my hardest because I want a couple of layers going down on this before I'll be happy with it. So I don't want to use too much of a hard pressure, otherwise I'll use all the tooth in the paper. And I have got an orange shade. This is Spanish Orange PC 1003. I'm going to go around the edge, circular motions again, all around the edge and blending it into the canary yellow that we've just popped down. Does anybody else really enjoy colouring mushrooms? Because I find it really relaxing. I don't always do traditional colours. I do like doing them all the colours of the rainbow. So medium pressure, circular motions all the way around. Same with these little areas at the bottom as well. Now I want to switch over to the lightest red that I've picked out, which is Carmine Red PC 926. And doing the exact same thing, going round where we just laid down that orange shade and blending it together. I'm not going to put this colour though around every single orange and yellow patch. Just do a few, just so it looks slightly different. It's very much about the layers with this one. And then to Poppy Red, PC 922. The areas that we didn't use the last colour, I'm going to pop this down, blend it into the orange. I'm going to actually pull this colour out a little bit more because I want this colour really showing. This is such a nice red shade. I'll pop a little bit here and there as well, just very random. Now because this is a slightly darker shade of red, I'm having to be a little bit more careful with how much pressure I'm putting down. So I'll go ahead with my darkest red now, which is Crimson Red PC 924. And start filling in some of these areas that have not been touched with the Prismacolor pencils yet. Just to fill them in. And then I'm going to go backwards and forth between these pencils just to deepen the colour up. Deepen it up. I do plan on using some white acrylic paint pen as well for a couple of the highlights. And we need to add some of the little markings back in. I have picked out a very dark red as well, Tuscan Red PC 937, but I only want to use that once I've done all the layers of pencil and I've blended it out with the white, because that's like the very last step. So in with the Carmine Red again. I'm going to use a little bit more pressure this time, more medium to hard. I can get away with it with this being a lighter shade of the reds. Now don't forget you can order this copy of Colour in Heaven from the website, which I definitely do recommend. I've ordered quite a few issues and calendars as well from the website, so that will be linked in the description down below for you. Now the next step is entirely up to you. There's two ways of doing it. So to blend out, you can either use a white pencil, you could use a blender pencil. I think I'm going to choose to use the lightest shade of the red to actually blend the rest of this out. So my lightest shade was Carmine Red PC 926, and I think this might be the best solution for this particular illustration. See how it really makes the colours beautiful and vibrant. And move closer to the centre. You can see as I'm following the liner, I am sticking to the line instead of going in circular motions. But as long as you're using the same pressure as with the rest of the illustration, you won't see them lines. Just stick to your circles. So we've got a straight line to blend underneath the line art, and as I'm pulling the colour down, I'm going in circular motions, and then you don't see that line. So one last time, I want to use the yellow, which is the canary yellow, PC 916, just to double check that I've gone around all of these edges and it's as smooth as possible. And this next part is entirely optional, but picked out Tuscan Red PC 937 just to deepen up a few areas. Right, because you've already blended all of the layers together, now you do have to use a medium pressure. I wouldn't say hard, otherwise you'll get really harsh lines. So yeah, I'd say a medium pressure. Just in a couple of areas. And that is the actual top of the mushroom coloured. We just need to add the final details. So we'll work on the bottom part. Now, I've picked out 3 pencils for this one. I've got Sand PC 940, Ginger Root PC 1084, and Light Umber PC 941. So for the little parts of the house, so technically we did the roof, the mushroom, the actual house, I'm going to use a little bit of a different technique, I think. So we've got that base layer down of the green gold. Now I'm going to use the Light Umber PC 941, and I want to make it lightest in the very centre, so it would be dark just underneath here. And I'll do a little bit along the edge as well. So the exact same thing as the top, colouring it in a straight line. But the difference with this one is I'm going to start just pulling the colour down, just with flicking motions. And you want these to be really, really random. So some short ones, some really long ones. You want it to look quite random. Maybe pull this side up down a little bit further. Now you're better off having a good sharp pencil for this. So keep turning your pencil as you're going. And just pulling the colour down. And then at the very bottom, you want to do it the opposite way around. So you want to pull the colour up. Again, try and keep it random. So now we've got that layer down, I want to switch over to sand, which is PC 940. And do the same thing as with the light umber, but you want to pull the colour down just a little bit further. So you don't want these meeting in the centre. I want to keep that. I want to see that beautiful green gold. The Albrecht Durer pencil. I want to see that. So let that poke through it ever so slightly. I'm sort of using this colour as well as a bit of a blender. So one more layer, I think, of the light umber PC 941. But now that I've got that layer down and I know where I want the colour, I can put a little bit more pressure down. Keep turning your pencil, making sure it's really sharp. Well, I just had a good idea. I'm going to actually add in a minute a little bit of the Tuscan red, because that will tie in beautifully with the rest. But same thing from bottom to top, a firmer pressure here. Just like that. And then with the Tuscan red PC 937, we'll go from the bottom this time actually first. Pull the colour up. You don't want to pull it up though as much as what you did with the light umber, because I still want that colour to show through. And we need to blend it out as well. So starting at the very top where that line art is, and you just pull in the colour down. Trying to make them all different sizes. Please don't forget to turn your pencil as you go, it will keep it sharper for longer. And I did pull out ginger root PC 1084. I think I'm going to pop a little bit of this down and use that as a blender also. And that's one little mushroom complete. So we'll repeat the same steps. I think I'll do these two cute little ones here. These two cute little ones here. So we'll do the little stems first actually on this one. So we'll start off with the light umber. With it being a smaller area, it'll be a tiny little bit more tricky, but you'll still be able to do it. Try and get some random ones, longer ones, shorter ones. And then in with the sand. Now, I'm not going to be too fussy about keeping any of the colour like I did this one, because I've not actually based this one yet. I thought it'd be a good idea to show you both ways of doing it with and without. So the next colour I used, was sand PC 940, and then I'm going to use the Tuscan red PC 937. Same thing, try and make it as random as possible, and then use the ginger root, which was PC 1084, just to blend that out. Very easy because they're smaller ones. we can move over with our beautiful reds and yellows now. So we'll start off with the canary yellow PC916. Just a couple of random areas. I might do more on this one, and we'll just do two. We'll just do two on these little mushrooms, and then switch over to the Spanish orange PC1003 and go all the way around where you've just popped that canary yellow. Circular motions again, and let's switch over now to the Carmine red PC926. All I want to do with this is fill in all the white area. Now this is the colour I'm going to use to blend out as well, so keep that on handy. And then we move on to Poppy Red PC922. And then start deepening up some of these areas. Circular motion and medium pressure now. And then move over to the Crimson Red PC924 and deepen it up even further. I'm going to actually add a little bit in this very corner, just a little bit. So I want to blend out now. Not yellow, I want to use Carmine Red in PC926, just to blend all these edges, and then switch over to the Canary Yellow, which was the PC916, just to blend these out as well. So all we need to do now is add our finishing touches to add a few more details. So to add the details, I'm using a white acrylic paint pen, making sure that it's well activated. And my idea with this is I want to let it completely dry, and then I want to go over the top with the Prismacolor that I used here, the sand. So if you actually look at a picture of a mushroom, the white patches have got a slight creamy hue to them. So that's where I got my idea from. So just going over where the artist has already put down where these markings should be. You do need to let this completely dry before you go over the top with your pencils. You don't have to make these white and cream, you could always do these in black. Now all the pencils will be linked in the description for you as well. So I just need to do these as well. Now the trick is with acrylic paint pens, you have to be a little bit patient. Let it completely dry, or use a heat tool before you attempt to use any pencils. But while I've still got this out, I'm going to add just a few lines, and then maybe a few dots here and there, and then maybe one down the very centre, and that should do. So we'll have to let that completely dry. Please be a little bit patient, and then I'll be able to do the pencil work. So we should be okay now to add a little bit of pencil over the top. Now I have got sand PC940. Now I don't want to cover all of the white up. Just want to add just a little bit here and there. Now just be careful how hard you're pushing down, because you can see there that it's slightly pulling that acrylic paint up. So So you just have to be gentle. Gentle and take your time. But it's giving it like a cream shade almost. I hope that it's showing up on camera, because I promise you it's there. And the same thing as well for these little ones at the bottom. So popping down the sand. And then the canary yellow. Just like that. So that is the finished mushrooms done, and I think they stand out absolutely beautifully, and they're really, really easy to do. It takes just a little bit of patience with the layers and waiting for things to dry. But if you did enjoy this tutorial and this design, don't forget that you can order your own copy of Colouring Heaven Collection issue 103 Garden Gnomes from the online shop. Just head to shop.colouringheaven.com or click on the link in the description. We'd love to see your mushroom colouring in our Colouring Heaven Facebook group. Please like, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future Colouring Heaven videos. Bye!